Being good doesn't get you loved, it gets you used. My name is Jared Mello, the Wizard of Radical Self-Respect and the Shepherd of Black Sheep. I've been seeing this meme make the rounds again, and a lot of people identify with it and resonate with it. And it always makes me think of two things, really. The first is, what is your definition of being good? This is a super important question to ask yourself, because any definition of being good that doesn't involve you practicing radical self-respect or involves you disrespecting yourself in some way is not a good definition of being good. To me, that wouldn't be good at all. Any definition of good has to include you treating yourself well, because if it doesn't, that means you are self-sacrificing and putting other people's needs before your own to the detriment of yourself. And when you say being good, do you mean letting others take advantage of you? Do you mean self-sacrificing? Do you mean putting your needs last? Do you mean just giving all sorts of love? Do you mean giving second chances, maybe when they don't deserve it? Do you mean overlooking what your boundaries and values are for somebody else because maybe you really want them to like you and you want to twist and contort to how they are? I'm not saying this is exactly you, but it is super important to know what your definition of good is. An exercise I think everyone should do is write down what you mean when you say good. And if you really resonate with that post, think about the time that you are thinking about when you see that post. What is the relationship you are thinking about, and how did it play out? What was you being good in that scenario, and how were you being used because you were being good? I think when you write it out, you might begin to see some patterns in there too. But let's, for sake of argument, say you weren't disrespecting yourself. You weren't letting others take advantage of you. You were actually loving with all you got in a healthy way. The other part of the equation is, who are you choosing to give your love to? Because when we practice radical self-respect, not everyone will be worthy of our time, love, attention, and affection. And in fact, we should probably make people earn our time, love, attention, and affection, because what is given freely is rarely appreciated, and things that are given freely often don't have as much value anyway. But these are the two sides of the equation here, because not everyone deserves the good parts of us, where if we're really a good version of ourselves, and we practice radical self-respect, we value what we have to offer, not everyone is going to deserve that. And I think what often happens is, if being good gets you used, chances are you are giving that love and affection to people that don't really deserve it. There's a biblical quote, "Don't throw pearls before swine." And that applies here, because not everyone will be worthy of our gifts. That's why it's a two-pronged thing here. What is your definition of good? And who are you choosing to spend your time, attention, energy, and love on? Both of these sides are super important. And when we practice radical self-respect, both sides are going to play a huge part. And we're not going to let people take advantage of us. We are not going to disrespect ourselves for somebody else. And it is not virtuous to do that anyway. I think some people might think, oh, I'll be a martyr and I'll put myself last and I'll maybe overlook my boundaries, or I'll give all sorts of second chances and that makes me a good person. I would certainly challenge that. Any definition of good, like I said, that does not involve you practicing radical self-respect or involves you disrespecting yourself in some way, that is something to really pay attention to. Remember these two sides here. And then a part 3 of all this here is too, once you know, okay, not everyone deserves my attention, love, and affection, I think there does also come a point where there's a happy medium with it too. because no one's going to be perfect out there, and some people might fortress, which is something I've spoken about in previous videos, and that's where they put walls around their heart and don't let anything in. They don't let the bad in, but they also don't let the good in either. And that's something to be mindful of as well. But that's something that happens down the line. If you're the kind of person that resonates with being good doesn't get you loved, it gets you used, the first step for you is really asking yourself what is being good, and then really screening the people that you are going to give your time, love, and attention to. And then down the line after that, it's having more of the healthy balance and the healthy medium. And you can't really rush this process. They are in steps for a reason. And you can't just skip to the healthy balance probably, because you have to learn. You have to learn who's worthy and who's not worthy of your time, love, and attention. Not everyone will be. And when people get to that part, some people probably go too far a little bit, and like the first sign of someone not being perfect, they're out the door. That's understandable, albeit if you're waiting for someone to be perfect, you will be waiting forever. That's the bottom line, because no one's perfect. But that's something that comes into play after you really learn how to screen and you really learn, okay, what kind of person is this here? And the whole process of dating is learning to have fun while getting to know somebody, while not taking it too seriously. Like, have fun, don't take it too seriously, but pay attention. Don't overlook red flags. Don't overlook your gut feelings and your intuition, and really be mindful of when you catch yourself trying to contort or twist to meet someone else's approval or to get someone else's acceptance. That's something I've done in the past, and it's always a red flag when I do that. If I catch myself wanting to not speak my mind or share the same opinion they do just so that they will accept me, not a good sign. It means that I'm seeking their approval in that case, and I want them to like me. Instead of realizing if I truly like myself, I will flip it and I'll think, do they or do I even like them? Instead of wondering, do they like me? I'll ask, do I even like them? Subtle flipping of the script there in a positive way. Whoa, I said that, positive way of when we change our perspective from do they like us to do we even like them. Subtle but powerful changes of perspective. But to go over this again, remember, be very mindful of what your definition of good is. Make sure your definition of good does not include you being self-sacrificing, putting yourself last, putting other people's needs before your own, neglecting your boundaries or your value system, being a people pleaser. All of those things, to me, would not fall under the definition of being good. And any definition of being good has to include practicing radical self-respect, self-love, and not disrespecting yourself. And the second part of it is, who do we choose to spend our time, love, attention, and affection on? Because that part is just as important as well. If we choose the wrong people, it won't matter, because if we're in the wrong place, it's not going to matter if we're the best version of ourselves if we're trying to give our gifts to the wrong kinds of people. It's just the wrong place. We can be in a good spot, but if someone's not in a place that they are compatible with us, or not in a place where they can really appreciate us and love us and respect us, it's not going to work. And sometimes it can be no harm, no foul, but other times it can put you in a situation where you get taken advantage of and used. And hence, that's why so many people can identify with that meme. Being good doesn't get you loved, it gets you used. Remember, think about what your definition of being good is. Think about who you give your love, attention, affection, and time to. Both sides are very important. And once you've been able to do that, learn to have a healthy balance with it. Again, that's a concept down the line, but it is something that I see people run into where They don't know how to have connection anymore. They know how to practice radical self-respect, but they don't know how to let someone in a healthy way. But that's a problem that happens down the line. People who struggle with this meme, be mindful of your definition of good, and be mindful of who you give your gifts to. Both very important things. If you got this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you liked it. Share this video with others that you think might benefit. Share this video with someone that is sharing this meme and really resonates with it. They're the person that needs to hear this. And comment below your experience with this meme if you feel comfortable. Share about why you feel like you resonate with this meme. Share about the situation if you feel comfortable doing so. I think a lot of people could learn if you were to do so, because I'm sure you're not alone. This meme has been making the round for years, and a lot of people are sharing it. And also, feel free to reach out to me for a radical self-respect coaching session. I want to really start helping more people out with that. I have an email list that I'm going to send out weekly emails. I've sent out 2 already. There's going to be a link for that in the description box. And if you want, channel memberships are a great way to support the channel. Donating to me on Patreon is also a great way to support the channel. And keep your eyes open for new interviews. I'm still going to try to do those as well. And as you've noticed, I'm making more longer form videos too. It's more fun for me, actually, to make longer form stuff. The shorts, fun for a quick hit or two, but you don't really get to dive into these topics here the way I like to do it. So I'll still do shorts, but I definitely want to make more long form content as well. But again, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of your support out there. It's been pretty awesome to see how the channel has grown, especially this past year. And I am especially grateful for the people that have been following me for years now, because it's been a wild ride and I've gone through a lot. And I feel like this channel is kind of a video diary for me, almost, where maybe I haven't spoken as much about personal stuff lately, but I will when I do these longer form videos. I can't help it but to kind of talk about what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling and where I'm at as well. But again, thank you very much, everyone, for watching and supporting me, and have a great rest of your day.